Now we're going to talk about PowerPoints. And I know a lot of you are very tempted to make a PowerPoint that is super long and has 8,000 words on a slide and is 20 slides long. And the problem with that is that, and then when you present it, you read from the slides. And the problem with that is that your audience is going to be not attentive, not paying attention. They can read, so you don't need to do that. And you don't want to put everything on these slides. Again, when you present a patient, you don't present every single thing about them. You present the pertinent positives, correct? So think of this as presenting a patient, but put in your research versus the patient. So you're going to go through the exact sections, right? Introduction, background, why is this a problem? What have we found in the past? Then you're going to look at your methods. Then you're going to look at your results, your limitations, your discussion, your limitations, your conclusions. Bing, 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 bing. You can do, and there are certain places that I've sent you to via YouTube to look at different ways to do these, but we do not want 20 slides. And again, you want to make sure that the slides are conveying the information that your audience is going to actually care about and is important to them. So if I'm doing research that has adults and kids in it, and I'm going to go present to the American Academy of Pediatrics, I am not going to talk so much about the adults. I'm going to talk about the kids. So again, you have to think of who's your audience and what do they care about. Now, for the purpose of your PowerPoint presentation that you have to do in August, there is a rubric that you can look at, so you can sort of make sure you hit all those dots and notes, but also you are going to put it online and evaluate each other, right? And I'm going to give you feedback, obviously, but you're going to evaluate each other, and one of the things to keep in mind is that you want to do constructive criticism. You don't want to tear someone down. None of your research is in competition with each other. Everyone's done different research, and all of the research is supposed to improve patient care. One of the things that a lot of students have difficulty with is when you're trying to narrow stuff down is you have to be very exact in your language, and you have to be very precise in your language. You might have to say, abbreviate things, right? So it may not be full sentences, it might be bullet points. And again, I'm going to put a couple examples of PowerPoints that I've done and done at medical conferences to just sort of show you how it's done. Now, this does not mean when you present that people won't ask you questions and then you can expand all you want, because obviously at this point you know your research. So if they ask you a question that's not on the slide, you could say, yes, we looked at that. Sometimes I might ask you a question that's nothing to do with your research and you're thinking they weren't paying attention, but they might have other questions. You would say, that's a good question. I'll look back and get back to you. I don't know the answer now. But part of this is you also have to not just get feedback on your PowerPoint presentation, but you have to practice doing them. So embedded in this is going to be a way that you can practice, and you know where things are long, where they're short, so that you can present to a wider audience and get that information and that knowledge out there. So again, to improve patient care. That's what it's really all about. That's why we do presentations. Yeah, it might be fun. You might get people who are great. You might get people who are sort of don't ask the right questions. But again, part of this is to get your research out there to improve patient care. And you have to do that by making sure the audience cares about what you're doing. Again, I know it's hard. You want to go concise, but that's what you've got to do.